What if every no you ever heard was simply one step away from a yes? Imagine walking into a negotiation not with fear but with certainty, knowing that the outcome is already tilting in your favor. Most people think negotiation is about manipulation or clever tricks. But what if I told you it is actually an art built on psychology, empathy, and timing? Tim Castle's The Art of Negotiation reveals that great negotiators are not born. They are built through preparation, awareness, and practice. The central message of this book is that negotiation is not a battle, it is a conversation between two sides seeking mutual gain. Success in negotiation does not depend on who talks louder or wins the argument. It depends on who understands the other person better. Whether you are closing a business deal, buying a house, or simply asking for a raise, every negotiation is about building trust, reading emotions, and staying calm under pressure. The better you can understand what the other person really wants, the closer you get to mastering this art. Before proceeding to the book summary, if you are new to my channel and not subscribed yet, then please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon, so you get notification for next amazing book summary on time. Let's begin the summary. Chapter 1. Preparation is paramount. Know your wants, and there's every great negotiation begins long before you sit at the table. Most people fail here not because they lack confidence, but because they fail to prepare. They rush into discussions hoping to wing it, only to realize that the other side has already done their homework. Tim Castle emphasizes that preparation is the most powerful weapon a negotiator can carry. It is about understanding both sides' needs, limits, and emotional triggers. Before any conversation begins, you must define your non-negotiables, what you must get, and your flexibles, what you are willing to compromise on. You must also research the other party's goals, motivations, and possible constraints. Preparation is not just about facts and figures. It is about predicting the human element, the fears, desires, and pressures that influence decisions. Castle also introduces the concept of BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. When you know your BATNA, you have real power. It gives you confidence, clarity, and the ability to walk away when the deal no longer serves you. The truth is, no amount of tactics can save you if your mind collapses under pressure. So how do top negotiators stay calm and sharp when stakes are high? That is exactly what the next chapter reveals, the secret backbone of every successful negotiator: mental stamina and fortitude. Chapter 2, Stamina and Mental Fortitude, the negotiator's backbone. Picture this: you have spent weeks preparing for a negotiation. You have done the research, studied the numbers, and practiced your talking points. But then, as soon as the other party pushes back, your confidence crumbles. You begin to doubt yourself. Your voice trembles. You either give in too early or push too hard and lose the deal. What went wrong? Tim Castle teaches that the difference between amateurs and professionals in negotiation is not knowledge, it is emotional control. Great negotiators train their minds to remain composed under pressure. Mental fortitude is built through resilience, patience, and emotional awareness. It means staying calm when emotions run high, when deadlines loom, and when silence stretches too long. Castle emphasizes that negotiations often test your psychological stamina more than your logical reasoning. You must learn to embrace discomfort. Long silences, aggressive offers, or emotional manipulation are all part of the process. Instead of reacting impulsively, great negotiators respond deliberately. He introduces a powerful mindset shift. Do not fear rejection, expect it. Every no brings you closer to the information you need to turn it into a yes. The real win is not instant agreement, it is maintaining clarity and confidence until the right agreement emerges. But even the strongest mindset will fail if you cannot connect with the person sitting across the table. And that is why the next chapter dives deep into the heart of negotiation, the art of communication. Because if you cannot make others feel heard, you will never make them agree. Chapter 3. communication is key. Listen, empathize, and be clear. Most people think negotiation is all about talking the right words, the clever arguments, the perfect pitch. But the truth is, the most powerful negotiators are not the best speakers. They are the best listeners. What if you could win almost any negotiation by saying less and understanding more? Tim Castle highlights that listening is the most underestimated skill in negotiation. People reveal their motivations, fears, and priorities through subtle cues: tone, pace, body language, and even silence. When you listen actively, you gain insight into what truly drives the other side. Empathy becomes your greatest ally. It does not mean agreeing with everything, it means showing that you understand. When people feel understood, they lower their defenses and real dialogue begins. Castle explains the importance of mirroring, repeating key phrases the other person uses, and labeling, acknowledging their emotions without judgment. These small techniques build trust faster than any argument could. Clarity is the final piece. Be concise, confident, and honest. Avoid jargon or vague promises. Negotiators who communicate with clarity appear more credible and trustworthy. Remember, confusion kills deals. When both sides clearly understand what is being discussed, progress becomes inevitable. Now that you can stay calm under pressure and connect deeply with others, it is time to move to the battlefield of tactics, because understanding people is one thing, but knowing how to strategically guide the conversation toward your goal is where the art truly begins. Chapter 4: Strategies and Tactics, a Toolkit for Success. Imagine walking into a negotiation and knowing every possible move before the other person even makes it. Every counter-argument, every hesitation, every emotional play, you already see it coming. That is the power of strategy. Most people walk into negotiations reactive and defensive, but the true masters, they play chess, not checkers. Tim Castle explains that negotiation is part preparation, part psychology, and part chess game. Strategies provide the framework, but tactics are the tools that make progress possible. Castle outlines several of the most powerful ones. Anchoring: set the tone early. The first number on the table often becomes the reference point for the entire conversation. Silence creates tension. The one who fills it often loses ground. Framing: present information in a way that emphasizes value rather than cost. Trading, not giving. Never offer concessions for free. Every compromise should earn you something in return. The beauty of these tactics lies not in manipulation, but in balance. Ethical negotiators use tactics to build clarity and progress, not deceit. Every move should serve both sides' ultimate goals. But what happens when the balance of power is not equal? When one side has more authority, leverage, or influence? That is when even the best strategy needs a deeper understanding of power dynamics, the invisible forces that shape every negotiation. Chapter 5: Power Dynamics, leveling the playing field. You are negotiating for a raise, and your boss holds all the cards. You are trying to close a deal, but the client knows you need it more. Power imbalance is intimidating, and most people surrender too early because they believe the stronger side always wins. But Tim Castle reveals a truth that flips this belief entirely. Power in negotiation is not fixed, it is fluid. It shifts with information, confidence, and perception. Even if you walk into the room with less authority, you can level the field by controlling 3 key levers: knowledge, mindset, and alternatives. Knowledge gives you insight others lack. When you understand your opponent's pressures and constraints, you gain quiet control. Mindset prevents intimidation. When you behave as an equal, you are treated as one. And alternatives, or your BATNA, remain your ultimate strength. The more options you have, the less desperate you appear. Castle also warns against confusing aggression with power. The loudest voice does not always win. True power comes from calm conviction, the ability to stay composed when the other side expects you to fold. But negotiation is evolving faster than ever. New technologies, virtual meetings, and cultural shifts have transformed the game. The next chapter uncovers how the 21st century has rewritten the rules of negotiation and what modern negotiators must do to thrive in the digital age. Chapter 6: 21st Century Negotiation Adapting to the Digital Age. Once upon a time, deals were sealed with a handshake and a face-to-face conversation. Today, they happen through screens, emails, and video calls. Tone is lost, timing is tricky, and empathy feels distant. How do you negotiate effectively in a world that is increasingly digital and disconnected? Tim Castle argues that technology has not changed the fundamentals of negotiation, it has only changed the medium. In the digital world, the principles of trust, preparation, and communication still apply, but they require new tools and awareness. Written messages can easily be misunderstood. That is why Castle advises keeping your communication concise, polite, and emotionally intelligent. Emojis or punctuation can change tone instantly. Video calls demand attention to nonverbal cues, eye contact, posture, and presence. He also introduces the concept of digital empathy, the ability to sense emotions and intentions through written or virtual interactions. Digital negotiators must learn to read between the lines, detect hesitations, and maintain authenticity despite physical distance. And yet, negotiation is not confined to boardrooms or digital screens. It lives in our daily lives, in our homes, careers, and every personal decision we make. The next chapter brings negotiation back to reality, showing how you can use these skills everywhere, not just in business. Chapter 7: Real-world application. Home, career, and big-ticket items. Think negotiation is just for executives or entrepreneurs. Think again. You negotiate more times a day than you realize when asking for a salary increase, buying a car, resolving a disagreement, or even deciding where to eat. Every interaction is a potential negotiation. Tim Castle brings the art of negotiation down to earth, demonstrating its everyday power. At home, negotiation strengthens relationships through empathy and compromise. In your career, it determines your growth, salary, and influence. And when it comes to major life decisions like buying property or signing contracts, negotiation can save thousands of dollars or secure better terms simply by asking the right questions. The most valuable lesson is that negotiation is not confrontation, it is collaboration. It is not about defeating the other person. It is about creating a win-win outcome that leaves both sides feeling respected and satisfied. And that brings us to the final and most profound chapter where all the lessons converge, because at the heart of every successful negotiation is not strategy or skill, it is relationships. Chapter 8: The Art of the Deal. It is all about the relationship. You might think negotiation ends the moment both sides shake hands or sign the contract. But Tim Castle reveals that this is where the real negotiation begins, because the most successful negotiators do not just close deals, they build lasting partnerships. Relationships, not transactions, are the true currency of negotiation. Castle explains that every deal you make leaves an emotional footprint. If the other person walks away feeling respected and valued, they will want to work with you again. But if they leave feeling tricked or pressured, you may win the deal but lose the relationship forever. The best negotiators focus on long-term trust over short-term gain. He emphasizes the importance of authenticity, transparency, and follow-up. Great negotiators keep their promises, stay honest about their intentions, and genuinely care about the outcome for both sides. They listen deeply, show empathy, and find ways to make the other person feel like a partner, not an opponent. Castle also highlights the power of gratitude. A simple thank you, a check-in message after a deal, or a genuine compliment can turn a business exchange into a lasting bond. Relationships built this way become your strongest leverage in future negotiations, because trust cannot be faked or forced, it is earned through consistent respect and integrity. So what does it all mean when you step back and look at the entire picture? Negotiation, as Castle concludes, is not a skill for salespeople, it is a life philosophy. It teaches you how to think, listen, connect, and create value everywhere you go. Let us wrap up the journey with the final thoughts from The Art of Negotiation. Conclusion: the negotiator's life philosophy. At the end of the day, negotiation is not about winning or losing. It is about growth, awareness, and human connection. Every conversation you have, every disagreement, and every deal you make is an opportunity to practice one of the most powerful skills in existence, the ability to influence outcomes while respecting others. Tim Castle concludes that the true art of negotiation is the art of understanding people. When you learn to communicate clearly, stay calm under pressure, and create value for everyone involved, you elevate your relationships, your career, and your life. He encourages readers to view negotiation as a lifelong practice. Preparation sharpens your focus. Mental fortitude strengthens your mind. Empathy deepens your connections. Strategy and ethics keep you grounded. Together, these qualities turn negotiation from a business tactic into a personal superpower. Negotiation, in its purest form, is not about forcing agreement, it is about aligning understanding. It transforms conflict into cooperation, pressure into partnership, and uncertainty into opportunity. In a world where everyone is trying to speak louder, the best negotiators are those who listen better. And that is the real art, winning not by overpowering others, but by empowering them to say yes.